Jacobs, founder and designer creator for Lessons in a Bubble. I'm here today to talk to you about why I've fallen in love with task cards. First of all, if you don't know what a task card is, it's basically a worksheet where the teacher has created one task or one question on separate little cards. This is a task card that I've purchased off TPT. It's a math question. You'll find a lot of language arts and math task cards on TPT. Some of the other subjects like social studies are more appropriate for a multiple choice situation, so maybe use a boom deck. But task cards are little pieces of paper that we're going to use instead of a worksheet when working with our students. Why I love them? Well, I love them, first of all, because the student doesn't get overwhelmed with looking at how many problems they're going to have to solve. Because they're only getting one task at a time, they don't have to worry about it being too hard, being too much, taking too long, and they don't get distracted with worrying about when they're going to finish. They just get one task at a time, they do their best, and in my pull-out special education classroom, we do as many as we have time for, unless we've done enough and we move on to something else. So it reduces the overwhelm for students. That's the most important thing when using task cards over a whole worksheet or packet. When I use the task cards in the small group, I can level the questions as I pass them out. So the task cards might all look identical, they all have the green polka dot border, but I know which ones are a little more difficult, which questions are single step or double step questions, maybe even 3-step math questions. And as I pass them out, I can level or differentiate the instruction for the students in the group. They don't know it. There's no peer pressure that he's doing more than me, his is harder than me. Why am I not smart enough to do the harder card? They just get the task in front of them and they work on it. Task cards also allow students to work on whiteboards or graph paper instead of just a little worksheet that might not have space for their writing. A lot of my special ed students have fine motor issues or just messy writing, or they write bigger than the average kid. And so the worksheets really do not accommodate their learning needs. So with a task card and the answers being answered independently on a modality that fits them, we're able to differentiate that instruction piece of the instruction as well. The other reason I like the task cards is they're so flexible. We can use them in a small group. If you have a set, you could use them in a whole classroom at a time. Over summer school, I posted the 24 task cards around the room. The students had paper and clipboard, and for the time allotted, they just had to travel and answer 10 of the tasks for the task cards. On the side, there was another student who only had to do 8, and a couple students that I said if they didn't want, they would get extra credit. So it's easy to differentiate the quantity of work that the students are doing as well as the rigor of the work that you're asking the students to do. Because you always want to keep them in that proximal zone of success where you're going to stretch them a little bit, but you're not going to overwhelm them so they quit. So task cards, worksheet, one question at a time, able to differentiate, able to change the time commitment based on how many you pass out and how many you're going to have time to use, and they're flexible in how you use them. Do the cards move? Do the students move? Is the teacher in control? Is it an independent center where the students just going through the task cards that you've selected for them? Or if they're one of your high achievers, maybe they're going to go through the whole desk. The final reason I like task cards is I can gamify them. With some students in language arts, I'll put a pictures out that ask for adjectives and verbs, and they're going to have words they're going to read, and we're going to sort them going around the table, playing it kind of like a card game. It's not Uno, but it's better than just doing a worksheet. So those are the reasons that I like them. How are you going to print them? Depends on what you're going to use them for and how long you think you're going to use that set. Some task cards I print on cardstock with color, and I never laminate them, and the students are old enough that they don't have their fingers in their mouth and they don't come in all sticky from recess and lunch, so I don't even laminate them. Some of them I know are super valuable. Their strategies or concepts that kids need lots of practice, and they have been for the years and years, so I'll laminate them, they last longer. And then sometimes I'll just print them on a single white piece of paper in grayscale because I don't know if those task cards are really going to fit my students, so I don't commit to the cardstock and the laminating until I've tried them out. And of course, you can always make your own task cards. If you want to look into task cards and using them in your classroom, you can go to my TPT store. I'll put it in the link below. I do have task cards available, but there's many wonderful sellers that sell task cards for all kinds of levels and all kinds of concepts. I hope this helped you. If you haven't tried task cards already, I hope you do. If you enjoyed this, follow me or join me over in the Facebook group, Lessons in a Bubble Special Education, where we talk about other strategies and things that that we can do in our special ed classrooms to support all of our students in being them best selves.